Good morning from the National Weather Service here in Pocatello. My name is Carter. This is your Southeast Idaho Weather Hazard Briefing for Thursday, December 1st. We're in the middle of a pretty impactful winter storm right now with a strong cold front working through later part of today into early Friday. A lot to get through. Let's get started. Key points we're going to focus on today. Impactful Pacific winter storm will be moving onshore with winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories in effect for all of eastern Idaho. Moderate to heavy snow will continue in the mountains throughout the day with snowfall rates in excess of 2 inches per hour in some areas in the mountains. Snowfall will overspread northwest to southeast throughout the day, and with that we will see a strong cold front moving through this evening. Wind gusts yesterday were observed as high as 50 miles an hour up at Monida Pass, and currently this morning have been observed upwards of 45 miles an hour here in Pocatello. We will continue to see those winds remain elevated throughout the day, peaking as the cold front comes through later part of today, and with that you could expect near whiteout to whiteout conditions, so significant travel impacts are expected with that front as continued heavy mountain snow is expected through the mountains throughout the day. Cold and dry conditions return late Friday, with next chances for snow returning late Saturday into early Sunday, with snow chances continuing into next week. Take a look at satellite this morning. You can see that area of low pressure there moving into Washington and a nice atmospheric river kind of flowing into our area. Lots of cloud cover and starting to see an uptick in precipitation amounts and as far as intensity as you get up into the central mountains this morning. We're looking at a pretty impactful period of snow there, and that will continue to shift further southeast as this system moves onshore further into the Intermountain West. And bigger picture for you. So storm number 1 here, this is going to be the one moving onshore, bringing that moisture in from the Pacific. And right on its tails, storm number 2, we will see a little bit of a break in between these two systems. But as this next one comes in, looks like it'll be heading more further south than this original one. So more impacts will be spread further south of our forecast area for the period. But we'll be keeping an eye on that storm as we get into late Saturday, into Sunday and Monday. And here's a look at the surface analysis. So you can see that system here moving onshore with number 2 right up there in the Gulf of Alaska. That'll continue to track further southeast and head further into our area as we get into the later part of this week into early next week. Weather risk outlook for the next 5 days. Very impactful weather day today. We're looking at rain and snow mix potential for the Snake Plain and Magic Valley. As far as temperature-wise goes, we're currently sitting at 41 degrees early this morning, so certainly a very warm start to the day. And with those gusty, downsloping southerly winds have been able to keep those temperatures fairly elevated, especially across portions of the lower Snake Plain and Magic Valley, where elsewhere seeing those quieter winds, temperatures are much colder below freezing. So we'll be keeping an eye on that rain-snow potential today, but with those snow showers and cold front especially, as that cold front moves through, it will transition everyone to all snow as it pushes through. So may see a mix of those showers throughout the morning and early afternoon, but as we get to tonight, it will transition to all snow with a breezy to gusty winds. For Friday, we're looking at continued morning snow showers with morning heavy snow as you get into the Highlands further east. But as far as continuing that breezy wind threat, we will see the chance for blowing and drifting snow concerns for Thursday into Friday with winter storm warnings and advisories going through Friday midday. By Saturday, we're going to see a break in activity. Very cold air works in behind the front, so you will be seeing noticeably cooler temperatures. And for Sunday and Monday, a little bit of that snow working back in, just some minor impacts out in the mountains, Snake Plain, Magic Valley, with slightly less as you get up further north. Watch list warnings and advisories currently in effect. So same picture as yesterday. We've just added as far as the Magic Valley zone. So winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings are in effect for the entire forecast area. That's all of eastern Idaho. With winter storm warnings, we're looking at heavy snow continuing, additional snow accumulations of about 10 to 20 inches. We're looking at maybe about 1 to 2 feet on those ridge tops, so locally higher amounts, especially as you get out towards the eastern Highlands, approaching 3 feet. And then again, these impacts will be going through Friday morning, and travel could be very difficult to impossible at times as visibility becomes near zero with that cold front moving through. Winter weather advisory, we're looking at periods of moderate snow. Again, maybe seeing that rain-snow mix in the morning hours through the early afternoon, but as that cold front comes through, it will be transitioning everyone to snow, with total snow accumulations anywhere from about 2 to 12 inches. So big spread on that, depending on where you're at. Lowest totals will be out in the Magic Valley. Highest totals as you get further into the higher elevations and closer to the mountains, with locally higher amounts in some of our, as far as highland areas outside of our warnings, approaching 2 feet with widespread gusty winds. Regional road updates this morning. So this is taking a look at the ITD 511 page this morning. You can see here areas shaded in the blue and purple are going to be where you can expect winter travel conditions. So widespread impacts up in the central mountains, up towards the Monida Pass area, and through the eastern and southern highlands. Road conditions are faring fairly well across the Snake Plain Magic Valley this morning, but we are expecting those conditions to deteriorate, especially as we get to the later part of today. Only road closure in effect right now is Idaho 21 between Idaho City and Loman, and that's closed due to heavy snow impacts in that area. We also have an avalanche warning in effect from the Sawtooth Avalanche Center, and this will be going through 7 a.m. tomorrow. We're looking generally up to this Wood River Valley and Stanley Basin areas and surrounding mountains for a very high avalanche danger given the impressive snowfall amounts piling up there. Let's break down the timing for you today. So we're looking at 4 a.m. We're going to see at least a mix of rain and snow showers start to work out under the Snake Plain with those warmer temperatures, but continued heavy mountain snow, especially up in the eastern Highlands, taking you through midday today. We're just long, persistent snow. Not going to see much of a break until later today. A little bit of that dry air ahead of the front, but as that front starts to work through, we will see a little bit of a break. But as that kind of shifts further southeast into the Snake Plain, Magic Valley, and southeast Highlands later part of today, we are going to see some clearing behind it. So we're going to have much colder temperatures working in for the later part of Thursday into Friday. But as far as seeing those timing and impact-wise, we'll be affecting the I-15 corridor just around after the evening commute hours, through the overnight hours, especially as you get further southeast, with snow continuing through the early morning hours, predominantly in the mountains. But as we get to the later part of Friday, we're looking at continued as far as, seeing those showers continue across portions of the forecast area, but nowhere near the intensity or coverage. Now let's break down the snowfall and wind gusts. So this morning we're looking at an impactful period of snow in the Wood River Valley. Snowfall rates will approach 2 inches in excess per hour in some locations, as wind gusts again trending in that 20 to 30 mile an hour range, with gusts as high as 40 miles an hour. This afternoon, snow is going to be shifting further east with the winds as well. Still looking at gusts up to around 40 miles an hour in places, with moderate to heavy mountain snow. And this evening, we're looking at that cold front passing through, so starting to see those lighter snowfall accumulations in the central mountains, but heavier accumulations as you get further southeast, with wind gusts up to around 45 miles an hour. And by tonight, those snowfall amounts are going to be heaviest across the southern and eastern portions of the forecast area, with wind gusts again up to about 45 miles an hour. And by Friday morning, still going to see those breezy winds throughout the day on Friday, especially as you get across the Snake Plain, south and east towards Utah and Wyoming. But as far as additional snowfall accumulations for Friday morning, not looking at a whole lot, just some light lingering snow showers, a couple inches for the mountains as dry conditions return for the later part of Friday. By Friday night, we're looking at winds as far as subsiding, so they will remain elevated throughout the day on Friday. But once we get to Friday night, generally looking at wind gusts up to maybe 20 miles an hour. And here's a look at the additional snow. So this is taking into account this morning's snowfall through 11 a.m. Friday. So we're going to see a fairly impactful period, especially as you get outside the Snake Plain, with significant mountain accumulations in that 1 to 2 foot range in places, but most of those will be in that 12 to 18 for our lower elevations and 1 to 3 feet in the mountains. Across the Snake Plain, we're going to see about 2 to 6 inches of snow. Locally higher amounts wherever we can get some more enhanced bands of snow setting up. So you could see some locally higher amounts in that 6 to 8 inch range, especially as you get across the eastern Snake Plain. With QPF with this event, still about 2/10 to 4/10 across the Snake Plain, and about 1/2 to 1.5 inches additional in the mountains. Temperatures for you today, it's going to start off on the colder side of things further north, but as far as a pretty moderate morning out there, 30s, 40s, and teens as you get further north, just a lot of cloud cover in place with afternoon highs in the 30s to mid-40s. By Friday, much colder air is going to be filling in. We're back into the single digits to double digits below zero further north, with afternoon highs about 10 to 15 degrees colder in the teens to low 30s. And take a look at your weekend. Fairly consistent temperatures. We will be having our next system working in for Sunday. So with that, a little bit warmer temperatures for your Sunday afternoon. But for Saturday, teens and 20s, low 30s further south. And by Sunday, everyone will be back in the 20s and 30s. In summary this morning, an impactful Pacific storm moving onshore today will bring moderate to heavy snow in the mountains, with snowfall rates in excess of 2 inches per hour in some locations. That snowfall will overspread northwest to southeast, with a potential for a mix of rain and snow across portions of the Snake Plain where temperatures are going to be above freezing. Strong cold front will move through later part of this evening. We saw wind gusts yesterday as high as 50 miles an hour up at Monida Pass, with wind gusts as high as 45 miles an hour expected today. Winds will remain elevated throughout the day, peaking as that cold front comes through, and with that you could expect near whiteout to whiteout conditions associated with that cold front, with significant travel impacts expected. Cold and dry conditions return late Friday, with our next chances for snow returning late Saturday into early Sunday, keeping with that active weather pattern as we kick off December, headed for the new year. But there I was your weather briefing for today, Thursday, December 1st. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please feel free to send us an email, give us a call, or check out some information on our website. Have a great day and stay safe.